Alright, let's start to get at the internals of this gun. Like most M4s, these here you push the two body pins out and then this will slide off. Obviously you have to disconnect your wiring. Like I said, you can see here it is the low resistance silver cord wiring, which is very cool. That was where I encountered my first problem. Right here are the body pins. You can see they have this little, it's like just a little ring of plastic to kind of hold it in place rather than using a spring and ball setup or any, screw in this end. Again, this is Chinese made, so they're trying to keep the cost down. That one came out fine, but this one, it actually ripped the thing. I don't know if it was like that when they put it together, but you can see it's all coming apart, so this isn't going to last long before this is gone and the body pins are starting to get sloppy. So there's problem number one. Like I said, I was impressed. The body's real nice, the wiring's nice. The hop-up in barrel, I can't get to slide out of here. You have to slide it back to get this wiring out, but I can't get it to move. So I'm going to have to take a look at that while I'm not filming to see just why in the hell the barrel and hop-up won't slide out. I don't see anything that'd be holding it in as far as a set screw or anything, but it just won't come out. And then, I don't think I said before, but the selector switch on it's very crisp. That was nice. And then of course it has blowback, so there's how the bolt slides. So all in all, it looks cool. But again, I'm not holding my breath. Also, it's got a chrome air nozzle. That was kind of cool. Seems like it'd be a nice seal and setup in there. Seems cool. Seems like your standard, gearbox housing. So let's get the gearbox out, take a closer look at it. Okay, a lot of people ask this question, how to get the M4 stocks off. Basically, you just pull this down, and then it'll slide. This one's really tight, too. It'll slide right off the end. That's how you get the M4 stocks off. And then, of course, you got to undo the bolt in here. It's holding the back of the gearbox. Take your magazine release out. Punch that body pin out, and the gearbox and all that will slide right out. Okay, let's go ahead and get the motor out. You just take these two screws here out. I like this because it does have the large style motor adjustment. I think it's a lot easier than those little tiny Allen socket head cap screws. But anyways, let's take the motor out. Alright, now we got the motor out of it. Nothing special here. It's just a cheap Chinese motor. It's got a pressed on gear. I don't care for this. It's got a plastic housing over the shaft. Not a great deal, big deal to me, but anyways, there's a motor, nothing special. Now if you go down inside here, you take the two screws out in the bottom and take the pistol grip off. Okay, then we're going to remove the, oops, screwdriver's a little big. Going to remove the magazine release. Like I said, so far the overall assembly of this is really nice. Got a metal magazine release, which is cool. Okay, here's where you start to encounter problems with these Chinese rifles. After I got actually I shouldn't just say Chinese. I've seen this in Taiwan made. I've seen it in all of them. After I got the pistol grip off it, you can see right here this screw. It's not even tight. Matter of fact, it's not even close to being tight. It's a couple of revs out. So this one's tight, this one's not. I always find this in these Chinese rifles. So that's my recommendation if you buy one. Like I said, I've always had good luck with my JG and other brands like that, but I usually take them apart when I get them. And that's the exact reason why you should right there. I mean, that screw is loose. Look at that. It's about 2.5 revs. And it's, not even tight, but as you can see, there's another problem. Alright, to continue on taking the gearbox out, like I said, you have to pull the buffer tube off, and most companies use a Phillips head screw down in there. They used a, let's see what size this is, I think it's a 4 mil Allen wrench, socket head cap screw. I don't have one that's that long. here's your, basically your standard standard length Allen wrench. I didn't have one that long. I don't have any ball drivers. I didn't have any Allen wrench that reached that deep. So thank God I have this flathead screwdriver. It's basically the same. It's a perfect fit for these, where you can just jam it down in there and get that off, or I would have been screwed right there and have to go buy something to get it apart. Alright, now I finally got the gearbox out, and when I first started taking it out, I forgot all about this. Has this function and bolt catch in it. So it's got this cross member piece here, which is hooked to this, which goes on this side of the gearbox, and then will catch in this little notch right here when you have a magazine out. And I forgot it was in there, so I started pulling it out and I got it all tweaked. So it took me a minute to get out the gearbox out of the body. But once I got that out, there's also the wire shield right here. Once I got that out, I still had problems getting the, I thought this was in the way, but after looking at it for a while, it was not. So to get this out, you have it all down in there. You kind of pull it forward and push it up. And I actually had to take a screwdriver and just get in the gearbox behind there just a little bit and just gave it a little pop to get it out. It was just that tight a fit. But like I said, when I first did it, I thought it was this function and bolt catch I was holding the operation up. But it wasn't. It's just that tight a fit inside there. So anyways, here's the gearbox out of it. You can see the blowback. I'm taking, it's looking like this is a whole mechanical setup right here. Then like I said, there's the little bolt catch. Looks like it's got metal bushings in it, 7 mils maybe. But anyways, like I said, that was loose, that screw is loose, looks like that one's loose. So selector plate seems to be a standard issue type deal. So let's go ahead and take the gearbox apart and see what's inside it. Start up here, we'll remove the blowback full bolt on. It looks like there's a little, looks like they actually used a little bit of some sort of thread locker in there, which would be kind of funny. So there's the bolt. I'm not sure how all this is held on there. And then here's the blowback unit itself. It's nice and generously greased inside as well as out. See the housing is marked Javelin Airsoft Works. And you just pull up that spring right there and that sets loose the blowback mechanism. Now obviously we'll just take these screws out of the gearbox and we can see what's inside this thing. There's one that was loose. There's another loose. There's, hey, that one was tight. That one was loose. This one we already know was loose. This one, hey, it's loose. And that one's loose. Every screw in this gearbox was indeed loose. Alright, now we got all the screws loose. Let's see if we can get this gearbox apart. I'm sure it should fly apart pretty quickly. Just like so. Get the spring guide out of it. And there we go. There is the inner workings of the Javelin blowback AEG. You can see right here this does indeed catch on the piston, which kind of sucks. Rides up in here. Get it back in place. So this rides back in here and catches on the back of the piston. Now we can start to see a lot of non-standard parts in this already. Get the piston out. Looks like your typical polycarb piston. Got the second tooth removed. Last metal Metal tooth on the last. Looks like it's already got some funk in there. Just your basic polycarb piston though, ported piston head. And you can also see it looks like the tappet plate spring here is not a standard unit. Not standard like the other gearboxes, as well as the tappet plate itself. So let me go ahead and... I already popped one spring in there. There's the trigger spring. Like I said, I do like the wiring. It's very nice. Alright, now we got to some of the internals here. Take a little closer look. See if I can clean up my mess a little bit. Like I said, the piston looked like your kind of typical cheap polycarb. Nothing special. Looks alright. Nice chrome cylinder. Polycarb piston head. I do like it they've chrome plated some of this, because you know chrome, a nice rubber damper in there. Chrome has a nice slick finish. It's easier to get a better finish than say on brass or anything else, so it does seal nice. Also like the air nozzle, again because it's chrome. Chrome's not only hard, but like I said, you get a nice finish on it. So that seems to be a standard setup. I'd have to pull another air nozzle to see if that's the exact same length. It looks to be the same. It does have an O-ring inside, which is a plus. We'll find some pluses on this damn thing. And then the gearbox itself, you can see there was not a whole lot of grease in it, which is typical for Chinese manufacturers. The bevel gear, you know, these all kind of look like standard Chinese gears. Sector gear, and then the spur gear. There's no shim in it whatsoever. The trigger contacts are everything's all chrome plated and stuff, so it does look pretty good in that regards. Your anti-reversal latch. See if I can get a hold of it. My hands are very slick. All this grease. The anti-reversal latch is not standard. And correct me, I know, of course you guys will correct me. There might be some other brands that utilize this, but this has this little tiny spring in back. I don't know if it's picking it up real good. Instead of having that spring that latches around the housing. So that's a little weird. Again, not like any other gearbox manufacturers. And other than that, it's just kind of your typical Chinese made gearbox. Alright, spring guide here. It's a plastic spring guide. There's no bearing or anything on it. It's actually, the spring was actually kind of stuck. It's a real tight fit, and it actually is stuck on the end, so I don't see that lasting too long. Looks like version 3, I believe, is the wider tabs on it. Okay, I got the bushing out. It is indeed a plastic bushing. Let's take a look. Looks like it's a 7mm. Yeah, 7mm plastic bushings in it. Alright, now I finally got the barrel out. I actually had to use a screwdriver in behind here to pry it out, which is a good thing because you want it in there tight. But you see it does have your standard hop-up chamber, which is all plastic. The one shocker to me was the barrel in it appears to be stainless. This is definitely not aluminum, so it wasn't magnetic. So I take it it's a stainless barrel, which looks pretty nice. Look, like I said, this is not a very good way to measure anything like this. But you can see right there about 6.04, 6.05, 6.06, 6.07. It's hard, you know, calipers aren't made for measuring that. But it's definitely smaller than a 6.08. The crowning on it's not very good, which I don't know why people call that crowning. It's just a chamfer on the end of the barrel. This one doesn't have any. Also has some damn plasticky gook here. That's probably why it wouldn't come out. It was all stuck in there. But like I said, I'm surprised to see it has a stainless barrel in it. Let's go ahead and pop the hop-up apart. See what kind of bucking. And then there's the bucking. It's just your typical cheap covered with gook. You know, these are like the ones that come in the JGs. They're just really, really thin, kind of cheap. Mine actually lasted a long time in my JG. But again, nothing special there. Alright, so there you go. That's the fairly disappointing Javelin Airsoft Works electric blowback M4A1. You know, I actually like I said, you're talking 210 bucks. I like the externals, the quality of not only the outer barrel, but as we saw, the inner barrel. And some other features. It does have some decent features on it. So if you do buy one of these, what I would do is I'd pull the blowback off it for starters. Because like I said, that's just riding behind the piston. You know. And it's not slamming either. It's spring loaded. So it's just, you know, it's just behind it. But I'd disable that right off the bat. Add some metal bushings to it. Re-grease it. Shim it. And you probably have a pretty decent gun. Change the spring guide. And you probably have decent guns. Like I said, the externals of it were fantastic. And there are some features of it that are really nice. But other than that, it's just another Chinese-made gun. I wouldn't rush out to buy one just yet. See what they do. These just came on the market. So give them time. See what they do. Unfortunately, I have a bunch of them, so please buy one after seeing this. This gun itself here, it's in pieces, will be in the reviewed section on my website. Guns that I review and take apart, I put at a deep discount. So if you do want to buy this gun, it will be in there. Whether or not I put it back together will be a whole different story. So please read the description carefully, because you might get one completely unassembled just like this. So anyways, Crazy NC Man, until next time, we'll take a look at the Javelin RIS and see how that one performed as compared to the M4A1.